Welcome to Illuminati Silver. We tell you the truth about silver. Today is Tuesday the 7th of April 2020, and yesterday we published a video entitled Why the Comex Won't Default or Go Under. And on Sunday, no Comex Gold, really, where we pointed out that short of a complete financial breakdown of all our banks and trading institutions, there is almost zero chance of the Comex going under. And we stress the reasons why this is the case. Now, the purpose of today's video really is to briefly cover the rather impressive situation yesterday, where we saw both stocks or equities and gold and silver rise in value. And this morning, there still seems to be some impetus in the markets. So let's take a brief look at how US equities closed yesterday. Well, the Dow Jones Industrial Average closed up 1,627 points at 22,679, up an impressive 7.7%. The S&P 500 closed up 175 at 2,663, up 7%. And the Nasdaq, like the Dow, closing up 7.7%, some 540 points, at 7,913. Some quite substantial gains, and places the Dow now clearly well over that psychologically important $20,000 level. Now, at the time of writing, which is 10:30 GMT plus 1, so by the time this is published, we admit that what we're going to say now may change in terms of the figures, because this will probably go up in about 2 hours' time. The Euro Stoxx 50 is up 2.7%, the FTSE 100 is up 2.1%, the DAX is up 3.3%, and the CAC 40 is up 2.9%. And overnight, the Asian Pacific markets were broadly up around 2% each. Now, where we have seen some movement, which has caused excitement amongst our community, has of course been in the precious metal space, and to be fair, especially silver. Now, real-time prices are as follows, and we'll compare them with Friday's close. Gold is standing at $1,655, some $37 higher, but it has been as high as $1,677. Silver stands at $15.27, some 86 cents higher, but again has been much higher, really, earlier today at $15.61. So it has fallen back some 35 cents. Platinum is up $24 at $751, and palladium is bucking the trend and is down $3 at $2,198, but it has had a phenomenal rise in recent months. And finally, Bitcoin over the past 7 days has risen over $1,000 and currently stands at $7,368, and a good $600 higher compared with last Friday. Now, in sterling terms, gold stands at £1,346. That's some £28 higher. And silver stands at £12.42 an ounce, up 68 pence. And in euros, gold is 1,522 euros, up 25 euros, and silver is up 0.71 euros at 14.04 euros. Now, the interesting aspect to note here is that amongst the key reasons silver has benefited relatively to gold this time is perhaps twofold. Firstly, of course, the much heralded gold to silver ratio had got a little bit out of kilter, even a bit rich for us, and silver appeared to look cheap in comparison. But the main reason in our assessment, but it's still really too early to tell because of course the paper markets to a large degree and futures markets are dictating price, is that what is perceived to be positive geopolitical news. In other words, the prospect of trade continuing in a number of countries, including China, earlier than envisaged, though perhaps not the US quite yet. And this could lead to the envisaged total collapse in silver for industrial purposes now being over sooner rather than later. Let's also not forget the planned stimulus packages that various countries, and especially the United States, have announced, which will be gradually filtering through the markets, and these too will have a positive impact, and again, possibly sooner than the markets originally envisaged. We have to bear in mind this is all a question of confidence, prediction, forecasts, and hope to some degree. Now that said, we are nowhere near out of the woods yet, and to suggest that we are is potentially dangerous. However, markets are now beginning to see light at the end of the tunnel, which is why equity markets have appeared at least to have rebounded. Now this may be a false dawn, but there does seem, after yesterday's rise, to be some inherent confidence. Now earlier this morning the dollar index was up 0.3, but it has in the last hour or so fallen back and is now down 0.4, but is still above the 100 level at 100.25. Listeners to this channel will know that we are more comfortable with the dollar index being closer to 95 to 97 and below that 100 level, although we still envisage it will go above it and stay above it quite a while, even though if perhaps short term it may marginally fall below it. Crude prices are up almost $1 a barrel, and the question obviously on everyone's lips is, of course, where will precious metal prices move from here, and have they peaked? We suggest that they haven't peaked. There's still too much uncertainty, and we have seen quite a demand for both physical and paper gold and silver from investors. Precious metals have now begun to seriously feature on the radar. Again, listeners to this channel will know that a few months ago we highlighted the fact that investment advisors were now starting to look at gold once again for recommendations to clients. And clearly, whether their impact has had an effect or whether, let's be candid, the dramatic drops in equities have had the greater effect, but people are now looking at gold in particular, but silver too, as an alternative. Now, we are still of the opinion that we expressed yesterday, and we shall quote it again today. Quote, "What we are saying, though, is to put all of this into perspective. If gold does rise back to its all-time highs of $1,900, it will have performed well. And if it hits $2,000 this year, which we doubt, but it is a possibility, it will have performed extremely well. Look at the fundamentals, look at the economy when making your decision whether to buy gold or silver or not. But whatever you do for your own financial prosperity, do not be suckered in to Comex going bust or US dollar crashing as the motive behind your purchases. Because if you do, even in this uncertain environment, it is our opinion and experienced assessment you could rue that day, especially if there is short-term panic because such stories gain traction. We are faced, as mentioned earlier, with an interesting situation. In that, we have to ask, will investors re-enter the equity markets and take the view that precious metals have now done their job, or will more bad news come out, which will force equities back down again and continue the reach to precious metals? Or, of course, there could be a third option, and one that we, frankly, bend more closely towards. And that is, we could very well see a gradual rise both in equities and in precious metals. Unless, as mentioned in the last two videos, the US dollar value moves to extreme highs. Now, as far as silver is concerned, we did point out in our last weekly update on Saturday the technical position, quote, "Technically speaking, a small bullish flag is developing, and only when silver rests above the $15 level can we regard it as a sustainable rise, which could then move quickly towards $16. But even if that happens, we find it really difficult to foresee silver going much beyond $17 in the current economic climate. Time, of course, will tell. And the next few days will be quite revealing in our view because of what silver has actually done yesterday. But we do suspect for sure that the lows for silver at $12 or just below in March are now in. But again, we still would not advocate paying hefty premiums for the physical. But at the end of the day, and as always, the decision is and will always remain yours. Thank you so much for listening. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe to our channel and press the bell sign so that you're notified of our videos as and when they're published. Also, we have put up today a conversation between controversially Greg and Journo Marcus discussing the current situation and also what they are doing to alleviate the relative boredom while at home. We hope you have found this video interesting and informative, and if so, please give it a thumbs up and share it on social media. Please ensure that you have subscribed to our channel and press the bell sign so that you are notified of any future videos. Also, kindly visit our website at illuminatisilver.com, and if you haven't already done so, please subscribe either as a free or paying member for regular email updates and offers. Disclaimer: Illuminati Silver owners come from a background of banking, international wealth management and economics. Having now retired from these worlds, we are not qualified to give investment advice. Therefore, this and other productions must not be deemed to be giving such advice and merely represent the personal views of its owners.